Hello everybody, Maven here, and the reissued Accrued Redemption Bow is illegal. This bow is truly one of a kind and it breaks the rules of its archetype. It does what no other bow can do. And in my opinion, it's the best kinetic slot bow in the game for both PvE and PvP, and I'll show you why in a moment. But first of all, how do you get this bow? Well, you get it from farming the first encounter of the Garden of Salvation raid, and as of releasing this video today, you have 3 days left, including today, to farm for this bow. Because it's currently the weekly featured raid, so if you don't farm it this week, you'll have to wait a few weeks to be able to farm it again, so I recommend farming it as soon as possible. And doing the challenge on first encounter is like the freest thing ever, so you can easily get all 5 red borders for this bow within like 1 or 2 hours. But anyways, let me break down why this bow is so unique and the best of its kind. Hope you enjoy. So we're going to talk about PvP first, and then we'll do PvE later, and I'll include timestamps for that. So we're here on D2 Foundry, and let's take a look. So the Accrued Redemption is a kinetic precision frame bow. In the left column, it gets Wellspring, Killing Wind, Tunnel Vision, Successful Warm-Up, Offhand Strike to the Pain, and Archer's Tempo. In the right column, it gets Explosive Head, Rapid Hit, Firefly, Lone Wolf, Kinetic Tremors, Swashbuckler, and Archer's Gambit. Now for both PvE and PvP, we're going to want Elastic String, Compact Arrow Shaft, a Draw Time Masterwork, and the brand new Tension mod to increase that draw speed a little bit further. And in the left column, we're going to want Successful Warm-Up for PvE and Archer's Tempo for PvP. But in the right side column, the ultimate perk here that we want for either PvE or PvP is going to be Kinetic Tremors. This is where the magic happens. This is the first bow ever to get Kinetic Tremors, and when you enhance this perk, it makes it so you can proc Kinetic Tremors in just 2 shots, which is insane, especially for Crucible. As you can see here, to be optimal against tier 10 Resil, you need 2 headshots or 3 body shots. But Kinetic Tremors is what completely defies this logic. The Raconteur is the only other bow in the game that is able to kill at base with 1 head and 1 body because of the perk Gut Shot Straight, as you can see here. But obviously having Gut Shot eats away at that accuracy, and also it requires you to aim down sights. But as you can see here, we can hit 1 head and 1 body with the Accrued Redemption and it will kill every time. They cannot escape it. Now there are other weapon types that can feasibly proc Kinetic Tremors in PvP, but it's never anything substantial because all 3 tremor procs won't hit them, and the multi-mock set's a great example of this. They'll get hit by 1 tremor, but then they'll just walk away from the other 2 explosions a majority of the time because the radius isn't that great in Crucible. But in this case, that first tremor is all you need because it's inescapable, and that extra 21 damage is enough to ensure that you pick up that 1 head and 1 body shot kill every time. And that's why this bow is illegal. And in the hypothetical scenario that your opponent is completely stationary, you can actually kill them with 2 body shots. That's right, this is the only bow in the game that can do that, so it's double illegal there. But it doesn't end there. The bow's triple illegal because you can actually proc Tremors with limp arrows. So you can proc it faster than Bungie probably intended. And you can actually kill with 1 fully drawn headshot and 1 limp body shot in a close quarters struggle situation. So this bow is extremely forgiving, and it's by far the easiest bow to 2-tap with in Crucible. It's really no competition. Now I'm no Hinra. I'm not going to go for some crazy synergistic bow for a hyper-specific build to optimize to the highest sweaty potential. As an average Jane PvP player, this is easily going to be my new main bow because it's by far the most user-friendly. It's so nice knowing that you're gonna kill anytime you land 2 hits. The consistency is unmatched. And some hidden tech you can do to get more kills in PvP when you use this bow, if you're confident in your capabilities, is you can actually start your gunfights with a body shot. Now, why would you want to intentionally get a body shot? Well, the thing is, if you start with the crit, it will break your opponent's shields. And what happens when you break someone's shields in PvP? They hide and regen their HP. But on the other hand, if you start with the body shot, it only does 91 damage, which will not break their shields, so they'll feel more confident. There's a much higher probability that they will re-challenge because they know that precision frame bows can't kill with double body shots, so they're gonna ego that fight because they know you can't win. But little do they know, you have Kinetic Tremors. So you're gonna follow up with that crit and they're gonna explode to the Tremors proc and die. So that's why it's nice to start a fight on a body shot if you can help it and if you're confident in your angle. Now, if you wanted the build I'm using, I'm just on Void Hunter with Oath Keepers, which allows you to ADS indefinitely with bows and massively increases their airborne effectiveness. For our subclass, we got Vigilance, Leeching, Dilation, Persistence, and our aspects are Trapper's Ambush and Vanishing Step. And for my mods, it's a pretty typical PvP setup with Targeting, In-Flight Compensator, Dexterity, Unflinching, Holster, Reaper, you know, average stuff. And for my stats, I opted for tier 7 mobility, which is the sweet spot for marksman dodge before hitting diminishing returns. Then I maxed out my recovery and strength and then kept that tier 3 intellect soft cap and dumped the rest into discipline. For your other weapon, it doesn't matter what you use as long as it's something for close range, such as an SMG, a sidearm, glaive, shotgun, or fusion, your choice. Personally, I'm using the Shayura's Wrath, and my heavy of choice is, of course, the Leviathan's Breath, but not only because it synergizes with Oath Keepers, but because my kill tracker on it is cursed and I only want to make it even more cursed. And as always, the dim loadout link to this build will be down below in the description and also the pinned comment if you want it. And now let's move on to PvE. Like I said earlier, the only difference between our PvP and PvE roles is that we're gonna use Successful Warm-Up instead of Archer's Tempo because it gives a slightly faster draw time multiplier than Archer's Tempo does. Plus, it doesn't require crit and it has a very generous timer on it that can go up to 20 seconds and refreshes on final blows, so it feels like it's always active. Now, Kinetic Tremors on this thing is absolutely cracked for PvE because it just ensures that you're always going to 2-tap whatever trash mob you shoot at, no matter the difficulty. Now, unfortunately, we have no bow mods for champions this season, but hopefully we'll get one in Act 2 or 3 because this thing is incredible for champions with that Kinetic Tremors. It's a heavy hitter for sure and would have no trouble stunning, and it would always deal consistent damage. It's just by far the most reliable bow I've ever used, and I'm instantly dismantling any other kinetic slot bow I have saved in my vault. That's how confident I am in this thing. There's no way it can get better than this unless we get a lightweight bow with Kinetic Tremors, which probably won't happen. Now, yes, I know the non-denouement exists and it can get Volt Shot. That's crazy, but when it comes to endgame content, I would take Kinetic Tremors any day over that because the damage output will be more consistent and guaranteed, whereas the Volt Shot bow relies on final blows and a timer. The Accrued Redemption has no requirements. It's just strong right out of the box. And just for the heck of it, I decided to do a side-by-side comparison versus the Buzzard with Overflow Kinetic Tremors, which is the highest DPS legendary primary in the entire game. So in this clip, we went up against Carl and I took advantage of the fact that Limp Arrows can still proc Kinetic Tremors. When I knew Kinetic Tremors was cooling down, I utilized those Limp Arrows to speed up my DPS. And we ended up killing Carl about 5 seconds slower than the reigning king of legendary DPS, which is pretty solid if I do say so myself. And the trade-off for that DPS loss is that you have just about infinite range, whereas the Buzzard is only really effective like within 25 meters. When I used it in that onslaught run in the background gameplay, I was actually impressed at the lethality of this bow, especially from the ranges I was at. It's just nice knowing that 2 shots will kill most things with that Tremors proc. And I know from experience that some of these adds take several shots to kill with the scout rifle, and this bow just feels so powerful in comparison. If you're a fan of bows, you gotta get this thing in your arsenal, so good luck farming it. It's pretty easy to get, and before you go making excuses about being a solo player or not having a mic, don't worry, you don't need comms at all to farm the first encounter with challenge. It's seriously a cakewalk, especially if you cheese the immune boxes with the Lost Signal grenade launcher. Just go on LFG, whether it be in-game LFG or the Destiny 2 LFG Discord server. Just start a group or join a group. It'll fill up literally within seconds because everybody's farming Garden right now. You'll have all your red borders in like 1 or 2 hours, trust me. So that's gonna do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to drop a like and a comment because it really helps out the algorithm. And if you are new here, please consider subscribing. Would love to have you here. We have a lot more episode Revenant builds on the way. We only barely scratched the surface. There's a lot more to go, so hope you can stay tuned for more, and I will catch you in the next video. See you later.